little squirrel man. He's like nicking up my stuff, isn't he? I see him, he sees me. There's a little standoff. He's thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to run? I'm going to run. And off he goes. You see him charging down the highway. I'm on to you, son. I'm on to you.
Don't let it show, let it know that it's grown, only rippling and out of frame.
Oh, yes. It is early. It is very early. Literally, after 30 years of not wanting rain in England, as you can imagine, overnight I've just changed my perception. And I know that my vegetables are getting watered. And now I love it. One thing I've been reminded of recently is that all constraints lead to different creativities. And sometimes I think it's easy for me and for other people to think that this whole CORCOVADO project is about building. How's the hut going, Dave? Is it finished yet? And I keep telling them, no, I've barely done any work since I last spoke to you. And partly that's because I'm not a task-orientated person, I need help. Partly that's because this isn't about the hut, this isn't even about the woodland. As I've said before when I did the Hut 360 chat, this is a state of mind. But there's a lot that I do each week that I don't always talk about or don't video. I only make a video over 1 or 2 days and, you know, edit for half a day and then post to you guys on a Thursday at 9 PM. But at the moment I'm here 5 or 6 days a week. So obviously there's a lot of other stuff going on here that I don't talk about a lot. Some of that is just spending quality time with people that I've been too busy to see. Some of that is helping friends take the next steps in their careers. Some of it's me just resting and recuperating. But also I've done a lot of writing. I'm really pleased to say that I've got a basic structure now for the 7 chapters, which is really a pulling together of all the bits of work I've done for various different groups that's slightly more conceptual, whether it's for Oxford Business School or for UCL University or for some of my own learning, and then kind of wrapping that all together in the life and metaphor of what I've learned here. So I'm sure it will take the rest of the year in the woods to write it, but I don't know if you've done a writing project or any creative project really, where to begin with the problem is completely unsolved. You have no idea what it is you're doing. And that's how it's been for the first 6 months. But now, with the writing, I kind of know what it is I'm doing. I've been very inspired by this short book compiled of Emerson's work, because it showed me that, one, books don't need to be massive. And I find that a lot of thinking books make their point in the first few chapters and go on and on and on and on. And actually probably makes it quite inaccessible. Hopefully when I do compile what I've been writing, it will be short, concise, everything from beliefs about the things that we can't see and touch, the invisible parts of the world, through to how we navigate, negotiate and build decent systems for the future, to what we call home, how we organise ourselves, and how we think about technology, artificial intelligence and the future of work. So really just trying to look at the whole world and how do we find our place in it in a way that will work for us and our children. When this video goes live on Thursday at 9 PM, the tickets will be on sale for the Unknown Enquiry. An opportunity for 8 of you to come to the woods, camp out in the woods with me for 36 hours and go on a journey together to inquire about the unknown and our relationship to the unknown. All the details are in the Eventbrite below. I don't know if I'll run another inquiry. Definitely something that I'll talk about in the book. But if you fancy it, please get on board. I put a lot of thought into building the structure of the day, how we do the flow of the day, how we get to know each other, and hopefully it will be really meaningful and valuable for people that don't know where else to go to get help on their next steps in their journey. I guess it's come out from a lot of the one-to-one conversations I've had with people if they've come down here and talked with me in the woods, and I guess from my own journey as well, feeling like my own map had run out in life. I have been blown away by the kindness and openness of really what is quite an old school farming community here. They don't really use the internet, they don't bloody have the internet here. Well, they do little bits here and there at the pub and stuff, but Believe me, it's the worst upload speed I've seen since like 1992. They've embraced me and what I do. They haven't ridiculed me to my face, at least. I'm sure they've done a bit behind closed doors. I would. On Thursdays when I go to the squash courts, I also drop my clothes off. And a couple of weeks ago, when I went in to put my clothes in their washing machine, I read this, which my friend Perry and her little son Joshua had written together in the car. There was a young man in the woods who needed to wash all his goods. He put them in the machine, they came out all clean. Now he can strut with pride in the hoods. Made myself laugh. Hope you have a happy day. Now, if that is not community and love and openness, I don't know what is. I went round to Alfie and Zoe's for dinner the other night, and they have bought me the nicest pair of scissors I've ever seen for the hut. Like, simple but amazing qualities. I'm dead chuffed with these. Thanks, guys. If you guys can remember the SOLVEY project from last year, you'll know that my friend Louis and I travelled around the world 10 stops in 30 days looking for small voices with big ideas. One of the things that came out of that was an article in Forbes written by a journalist called Esha, who is the person that I tried to go to India with a few days ago, got all the way to the New Delhi border and got turned around and sent back home, and I was back in my house within 24 hours, which was the first time that I really felt the burn of being rejected. I've never been rejected from a country before. And obviously it wasn't critical because it was just a short trip for learning and for education, but obviously it's made me much more acutely aware of when people get rejected from countries when their lives depend on it. Esha just sent me this book called Foreigner. It tracks migration into Europe and takes Instagram photos of people's journeys from Syria and Iraq and Iran as we humans try and find a safe place to live, whether that's because we're fleeing from direct military oppression or whether the effects of that direct military oppression have left our countries in tatters. One of the richest parts of this woods journey has been all the books that you guys have sent me. I flick through them, I read the fronts and the backs. I've never been a good reader, but it all goes in, and even as they sit here, they influence me. I will make a list of all the books that are here at CORCOVADO. We're also going to make a list of all the products that we've used, like from the clothes that have been sent to the live straw and the tents and all that kind of stuff, so that you can get a good deal on those things. Crap. This is the other thing I didn't want to open without you guys. Well, I think I'll just use my new scissors. So this is the second in Jenny's series of paintings of the seasons. As you can tell, it is Bluebell City. You saw it a couple of weeks ago on the video. And she'll be coming and painting all 4 seasons. As you might remember from a few videos ago, we're making a feature-length piece this year about the woods in the seasons, just as Jenny is reflecting here in the paintings as well. Ollie's been coming to film with all of his professional gear and drones and everything. Josh has written some incredible music for it. And I met a guy down here called Nick, who's a sound designer, who thinks about how to create mood and feeling through using sounds, not music, which I'd never heard anybody talk about that before, but it's quite fascinating. And he's going to help as well. So it's really building into hopefully something quite beautiful. And there's one more thing that I am so pleased to show you guys today. It seems small, and it is, but for me it's very exciting, so I'm going to put you on the gimbal and take you and show you. National flags are predicated on the idea of war. They're about going into battle. But white flags have always signified peace. It's actually quite a big moment for me, putting that stake in the ground. At the end of the day, I want something to stand behind. I love the innocence and creativity of the flag. It feels like a big step. It feels like something's changing in me as well, moving from simply just a personal experience of getting into space to think about what's real to thinking about what Corcovado could be for others, thinking about how special it's been, even that I've built such a good relationship with a landowner that has allowed this creativity to occur. Any of the book that I write, any of the thoughts, any of these videos would not be possible if it wasn't for my relationship with the people that own this estate. You know, in the Renaissance, where we moved forwards in our thinking quite dramatically and all kinds of arts and creativity came out, a lot of those artists were supported by rich estates. People that could afford to say, hey look, just come here and just create and don't worry too much about the monetary impact of it. And that is an incredible privilege, but also it allows for an incredible burst of creativity. And I think maybe we need something like that again. And I'm experiencing it. To be in this environment and inviting others, including you guys, to come and be a part of it is something quite special. These are very exciting times, but they do need us to think in a different kind of way, which again is why I'm running these little events here. I'm not sure if any of you saw this week that David Cameron got a luxury shepherd's hut in his garden. On one side, I was glad to see shepherd's huts in the press, because the more people talk about them, it makes me happy. But on the other hand, I was really gutted and disgruntled, and if anything, a bit pissed off with the press that they wrote it up in such a way that degraded it to a toy, basically, making it sound like he's built a 25 grand Wendy house in his garden, when this will cost about 7 grand when it's finished, maybe 8,000, and it isn't a Wendy house. This is an alternative living solution. This is an opportunity to solve problems in society, to find housing for people that have come into the country, to find housing for people that have been waiting for housing for a long time. If we would be willing to not see it as a middle class privilege, and this is the battle I face in myself. Oh look, the pheasant, sorry mate. I am a middle class bloke with a house in Surrey who has to ultimately decide whether this is going to be a writing retreat for me, a nice place to make videos and coach other people and do writing, or whether ultimately it's going to be a way of life for me. But I think for as long as we're willing to just write alternatives off as cute little things to put at the end of the garden for your kids, I think we're going to continue to have problems, because the systems that we've got just aren't bloody working for everybody. They only work for the middle class, and soon they're going to struggle as well. In other news, check out my dance floor. Let's try and go get these windows. I think, I could be wrong, but I think I found it. These kinds of units here, these are double glazed. What would they have been for originally?
That's for windows. They could come out the plastic ones or the aluminium ones.
Okay, yeah, but for houses.
Yeah. There's a door one over there.
But like this one, I think might fit absolutely perfectly for the hole I've got, actually, with a little bit of wooden framing.
We'll take that one now.
Yeah, yeah.
That one.
This little bit here, is this scrap for you?
All scrap.
So if
I'll be on the blue bin, all whatever comes up there is scrap on the blue one there as well.
It wouldn't be criminal for me to grab something that was here?
No, not at all.
And so is it alright if I grab a couple of these sheets now?
Yeah, do what you like.
Mate, I know it's obvious to you, but I love it when people who run decent businesses actually just see their waste as something that can be used, not just...
So we recycle the plastic, the last one went to Ascot fencing. It's nice to use it all.
I think it's going to be better and more interesting experience for me to take the raw panels and try and build frames for them.
You could take some glass out of that.
We can't get any closer, and it feels we can't get any further away.
We are back in business, people. This is what I've been waiting for. They don't look ridiculously heavy either. They're heavy but not crazy. I have struck transparent gold. It's unbelievable. People, I will put Mark Anthony's links in the description. Please go on Twitter and give them some love, because literally I rang these guys yesterday. Come in the morning. Tip's coming tomorrow. Get over here. Boom, sorted out all the glass from my house. He's like, yeah, I like helping projects, people doing stuff. No messing around, no fuss, no worries, just good, hard-working people who don't want to see stuff go in landfill. And that is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
Don't let it show, let it know that it's grown, only ripple in and out of frame. On and on and on and on and on.
I just stopped off at Stan's to get a coffee and to thank them for hooking me up with Mark Anthony, and then I got a message from my friend DHS with something that to most people probably isn't that important, but to me it has absolutely made my day. I'm having an absolute winner today with the windows and with this. There is one Instagram account that I have loved for years, since before I was even posting on Instagram, and that account is called Cabin Porn. Recognise that? Ew! Oh, Betty's on Cabin Porn. I tell the whole story about eBay, you know, as you will know if you follow the journey. It's pretty cool. I'm so chuffed, and cheers to Louis who connected me with these guys. Yeah, that is one of those little things that shouldn't mean a lot but really does, and I absolutely love it. Put in the comments below if you also love Cabin Porn. I've been addicted to their stuff for a very, very long time. Huts in general have become a lot more popular in the last few years, but I feel like this was the first cool account that I saw online that really inspired me and kept the hut dream alive for me. So it's a pretty exciting moment, I must admit. Please excuse me and let me indulge myself whilst I bask in a nice moment. Can't believe it. Cabin Porn. The old Betty with the old version 1 canopy. And actually, either Amy or Aria, you took this photo, which is at Always Floating Away or at Aria Mark. Thanks so much. The rain's coming. I've got to go off to see someone. It's been a good morning. Remember, the Eventbrite is below. Mark Anthony's details are below. Take care of yourselves and look after each other. I will see you next Thursday at 9 PM. Peace.